I'm going to hand it over to Ralph.
Thank you, Ross.
Okay, thanks Ralph, Paddy.
Hey, Ralph.
Just thought that, I'm not going to times I've said that. Whole time, it's mad, isn't it? When I first came round and I hear people talking about clean time and electric clean time, it really impressed me. I would say it impresses me, but there's something that my girlfriend and her stepdad used to say, why do people want to congratulate themselves for doing something they shouldn't do in the first place? I'm like that. I found out last year actually that I'm allergic to autism diagnosis, and I can work with things like that, box things off, and really understand that, because I shouldn't have been doing what I was doing, but I couldn't help it. I've been clean from drugs for over 27 years.
Well done, mate.
Only squeeze 27 years in 20 minutes. You can't. Probably more than that, I think I did anyway. Twice. But I found the youngest son of 3 boys, the youngest sister, mum and dad. My dad's dead now, my dad died at 22. My mum's still about, she's 85. Too afraid to go out, she's too scared to go out. She actually missed my wedding because get sepsis. She's too scared to go out there in case she falls over. But we sort of, all I can remember was it was a really pokey 3-bed flat in North Kensington. All I can remember is it being really tense. And I never had any sort of other reference point from the one I was in, so I found myself quite just scared of my wits. On red alert all the time, because our dad was from the North East. I've got a bit of understanding now about why he was the way he was. I've got a bit of an understanding about why he was the way he was, because he was from the North East. He moved out to Peckham, I think, when he was about 5, with his mum, with my nan, and she got put together with a few different husbands and stepdads, and he used to get beaten. He was sexually abused. The unknown told me he would come out of the house. And so he had a really hard life himself growing up post World War II. And yeah, it wasn't nice living in that house. No, because it talks in that, I think today reading at the end of the meeting, I've tried to get a better perspective in my life. And I think that's what recovery has given me, in a sense. It's given me a better perspective. Because my one, if I rely on the one I have about the right things, I'm always going to be playing the victim. I'm always going to say I've got the shitty end of the stick. But my experience was I just recall being really scared of this man. We all just tried to survive. We used to say, first up was best dressed. There wasn't much food back, so it was really sort of impoverished. Dad was a thief, a petty thief. We couldn't come home one morning, early morning. He had a great big hole in his groin. He impaled himself on a spike where he was up to no good. So, I'm just going to say this, that never made me an addict. We try to paint a picture about where I come from. Where I come from is a lot of aggression, a lot of anger, and I didn't like it. I still don't like anger and conflict today. I was on a meeting this morning, there was some, on an online meeting, there was some sort of, let's say, opinionated sharing on this meeting, and there was a couple of members of the group who were getting quite triggered by what was being said, and I was sitting there feeling really anxious. And I even in the same room as these people on the Zoom call, do you know what I mean? So I don't like conflict. But I went to my first ever 12-step meeting, and I recall this as being, it's going to have to have been mid-80s. I'm going to say I was about 15, maybe 14, because I love the fruit chip. Wow, man, I love the fruit chip. worked up Portobello Market. I was a barrel boy at Portobello Market for a fellow called Charlie Collins. He had a few fruit and veg stores, and I worked for him. And I used to do all my money on the fruit machines. And what I was also doing was nicking other people's produce and selling them to shop ends, just so I could feed these machines. I would stand for hours against these machines. And got into it. Systems you start to get skilled over as you go along, you know, you see that around the way, you know, steal from your own and that kind of stuff. I stole from my own. I was nicking money from my grandmother, my mum, my aunt, and the joy of my own grandma's at his house. My cousin boy had a great big pot of 10 pence pieces of pieces, and I was shoving them into my pocket to go and pay fruit machines. And it was discovered that money was missing, and I admitted to paying fruit machines. About mid-80s, so you know, I never had any desire to stop gambling, but I had it was on top, she was saying, I wanted to show I wanted to do something, you know. Yeah. And then as we went along, I think I went to my next 12-step meeting was in, I'm going to say 98, cocaine anonymous, sorry, this is my experience. I went to the CO in 98. My girlfriend Nicola used to sit outside. I'd be using her on the week. I work clean. She used to sit outside and make sure I got to this meeting. Just trying to run me. And I've really looked after my Asian kid. Dropped me home and that kind of stuff. So I had a really nice feeling about that when I first met. And then my first ever LA meeting would have been August. I'm going to say about 6th of August. Superman on Friday night, set me. I've been coming regularly to meetings since then. And recovery has been many things. It's been successful in that I haven't picked up a drug in all that time. I've had to have medication for numerous bits and pieces, like open heart surgery in 2008. Hip replacement in 2004, and I had to have painkillers. One of them to sort of meditate with pain and things like that, to get through this through meditation, heavy breathing. I was took medications working through that. But I suppose what I want to talk about is that addiction hasn't something I often sort of flippantly sort of say when I went to that rehab in Western Superman, I went to that door. My addiction didn't say to me, I suppose I'll leave you in and I'm off and go back to London. I walked in there with the same head. And I've had, I'm just thinking about driving up here, how many sponsors I've had. I'm probably on about sponsor number 10, number 11. I haven't sort of, I'm going to be really honest with you, I didn't know what I was doing in those relationships. I didn't know what it required. I remember an old sponsor of mine used to talk about, you know, being responsible. That's what he used to say. He used to be responsible, you've got to be responsible. And I didn't get the memo really. I didn't know that there was a little bit more than just coming to me. I think it says in our basic text, it might be the basic text talking about, you know, I'm all right bringing my abstinence here. I'm abstinent from drugs and I'll get you to help me with that. I'm clean, you know, I'm out for 27 years clean, you know. In the meanwhile, in the background, I'm spending money I haven't got on things I don't need to impress people I don't like. I'm overeating. I'm on all sorts of dating apps, swiping right, swiping, just acting out like you wouldn't believe. And I'm coming to meetings, sharing uni days or conventions, and this and that, clean. Inside, I just felt so dirty. And I didn't know that though, because I'm getting the impression or the understanding now that Sponsor emailed me earlier before I come to the meeting to talk a little, wants to do a bit of step work. And I was reading that step 4 stuff about, that stuff about it being in like the layers of an onion. And I'm doing step 4 myself at the moment. And then, I was joking with John earlier about my wife, about how at night, she continues to take my inventory. When I'm wrong, she tells me about it. But I was joking a little bit about that. But that stuff around finding out actually that you're not actually doing as well as you thought you were. I'm definitely not doing as bad as I used to be, but at the moment sometimes, because I don't know when I'm being unkind to my wife. I don't know when I'm being dismissive with colleagues and clients at work. There's a part of me that's so, I could be so aloof and so arrogant and so, I don't know whether it's fearful. I just want to isolate and hide from people. I just give them little bits. My wife jokes that, I just give her these one-word answers. She knows then I don't really want to talk about whatever it is she's bringing up. I just want to do what I'm doing because I still am so incredibly selfish. Incredibly. It's painful to sort of acknowledge that because I want to love my wife. I do. I absolutely adore my wife. Even those words leaving my mouth, wife, is for me is a miracle because I never thought I'd get married. I didn't think that was on the cards. It's come about and it's been a real lesson. I'm telling you, because I don't know about anyone else, but I had this idea, I suppose when I was going along my life thinking, get married, ripping each other's clothes off, holidays, this, that, the other, just what a load of nonsense. What's a load of nonsense? A Hollywood kind of ideal about how wonderful marriage is going to be, but it's definitely something I'm working on because it needs work. I'm fully aware that without the support I've got in my life, with other married people, that I would have walked away by now. We only got married in August last year, and it's already been really bumpy, should we say. Touch a little bit about other relationships, personal relationships. I haven't spoken to one of my brothers. I'm going to say since about 2002, maybe early 2003, which I feel quite sad about, but I also feel quite adamant that at the moment I don't want to be anywhere near him because of his anger and his aggression. Very much like my dad, very similar in terms of how volatile they are and unpredictable. He's a lump in my brother, so I don't particularly know why that would be good. But how it come about this last sort of bit of trouble was when I was at my mum's door and he was shouting and screaming at me about something and he really came to blows there. Another brother in the country that a few of you might know again, I haven't spoken to him since Christmas. And if I'm really honest, I've been enjoying the break from family. At the minute my focus has been away from my marriage and other stuff that I do. My focus has been on my mum. My mum had sepsis, like I said, in August, and I've been really, my sister's been the one. My sister's an absolute diamond. She's always down there, she's always doing stuff for mum, and I'll go down and do all her admin, chasing after bits and pieces. And it's really been comforting to know that my sister's, she's in Fulham, so she's not too far away from my mum. My mum's in Ladbroke Grove, so she's able to get down and stay quite a bit. Me and my wife are going down there this Saturday, but I'm focusing on my mum at the moment. Unfortunately, I was talking to my sister a couple of weeks ago because she was raging about how things turned out, how my my two brothers have been performing or not performing in relation to our mum. My sister said the other day, she said, I just want to get her funeral paid for. Everything's going to be organised. I don't want to see them ever. Honestly, she really taught them. I tried to chip in and just say, look, they're just doing things, they're not doing things to you, just try and keep it side of the street clean. She will go out, when the time comes, because she hasn't got a program. Bless her. She hasn't got a program. Like I said, I've been doing this step forward, and I've been looking at some of my conduct over the last little while. It's not too nice to look at. Because I was thinking about this I was sharing about 10 minutes ago. I was just thinking about I've still got and can have the same attitude towards people's feelings, considerations that I had when I was using. I really can be quite ruthless and dismissive and kind of like uncaring about how I affect other people. This is something I really dislike about myself. Because I've been sharing quite a bit lately about the fact that I didn't think I had any defects of character. I didn't have any. And I know some people don't like the term defect or that word defect. I'm not really. Go back to how I think and how my mind works. That'll do me. I'm defective. There's something in me that's broken that I can't fix on my own. Because I've got no power over my behaviour sometimes, especially when I'm not working a program. My spiritual condition is contingent on how I perform in my recovery. And when I'm not got to focus on others, and I'm only thinking about myself, I'll overspend, I'll overeat, I'll oversleep, I won't take any responsibility. No, I'll cop the old at work. I was told yesterday at work, in a meeting with one of our senior managers, that my role is changing. I'm now going to have to go back to work within the criminal justice team. And I thought I'd seen the back of that years ago. I've been doing aftercare in my current role. So what I did today, I was meant to be studying because they paid for me to go on a personal training course, diploma in personal training. Wednesdays were set aside for me to be studying. I just lay on the sofa. I thought, no bollocks, excuse my language. I'm not doing no work. I'm laying there. And I've even sent an email to the manager to say, look, on reflection, I'm not doing this course. It took me a year to get it. Now you told me yesterday that we're not doing aftercare anymore. So I'll go to the office tomorrow. You might have responded to the email, but I'll do what they ask. Go into prisons or police stations again and try and fish for people in places where they're using. Because I've done it before. I'm good at it. Or I used to be. I'll have a go at it. But there are days when I just think sod you, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I can be quite childish in my responses. I want to say this, I suppose, because I don't want it to sound like it's all doom and gloom, because I think I've landed at this place in my recovery and in my life where I'm getting more of a balanced view about myself. There is a section in our step forward that talks about assets, and I've got loads of them when I'm working on program. But that's when the defects can sort of slip in. I don't want to, because in my head, it's not a good place to be. What I consume visually from my TV or from my screen. I tell you what, I got a report on my phone the other day, 7 hours a day, average last week. A day on this device. That is scary. I'm not awake for that long, am I? It's mad. So, yeah, I am an addict. I am an addict in recovery. I've got a fantastic life. My health is relatively good. The hip replacement is great. I was playing walking football the other night with some people from my church where I go. It was the most polite game of football I've ever played in my life. Because I played football, I used to play football years ago, and it wasn't like that. You know, so sorry. Life's really good at the minute. I found a lot of peace. Yeah, definitely. I've got a good life today. And it's good, really good to be clean. You know, I had to call, I was telling Roz, I had to call Donna, who was my wife, on the way up here. I saw this guy, brought me to tears. And I'm smiling because you might be thinking I saw someone sort of begging on the street, and he was, you know, trying to get a few quid together to get back. But this guy's face was, the bottom of his jaw was huge. And I just looked at him and thought, man, poor sod. I don't know if that's the right thing, but I really felt for him. Another one of my old sponsors used to say, you know, live and let live. And I know I don't walk in that guy's shoes. I don't know what it's like. Don said he might be living his best life. You don't know. But I think that sense of compassion that I have within me, it almost feels like I'm recovering that because I lost it. I remember as a kid I used to see people that I deemed to be somehow sort of in trouble or, you know, a little less, you know, fortunate than me, and I used to feel really sorry for them. I think I'm getting that back. It's coming back. I don't think that's a good thing. Yeah, I love being clean. I never thought this was possible. I didn't know this was coming. I was convinced. I used to tell myself I'd get clean by the time I was 30, but I never got round to it. And my beginnings of getting into recovery were, I went to a day program in Portobello Road called the Blend Project. It was no longer there, but it was a crack program, day program. Because I was at it again, I was making money out of my mum's. I had my mum's 25th wedding anniversary present for my dad. And a sovereign in it, like a gate bracelet. I gave it to a fella up Manchester Drive for a rock and crack. And I got back to smoke it, melted because it was wax. And I knew I'd never see that again, that bracelet. And so I ended up in this program because I put my hand up and said, I can't stop smoking crack. They didn't know what they had on found me. And I had a little go at 2 weeks of this, but I lasted, I was straight back on the can, I was flat after that. 99 was my first opportunity in this life. I was given a gift in that February 22, 1999. And I've tried to look after it the best I can, but sometimes that best hasn't been adequate, because I have said previously to a few people who I'm in communication with now, I am quite slow in the uptake. I am. Sometimes I don't read the room, I can't read the room, I don't get what someone's telling me, and I haven't got it about me to put my hand up and say, could you describe that again? At times, sometimes I have, but I'm very much grateful to be able to sort of have another go round the steps and have a little bit more of an understanding about what's required, you know, and not just tick boxes and think, right, that's that then, I've done that step now, I can move on to that step. I've got to get an understanding of what the steps are teaching me, because they are a teaching mechanism. So, yeah, I'm really grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be able to come and speak in this meeting. I'm really grateful that the football's on tonight. We had a little joke outside about, you know, did you know the football was on? And I said, yeah, I did know. And I didn't. I told a lie. I didn't know the football was on. But when I remembered I was sharing, I had a look at the time. It was 9 o'clock, we're kicking off. My wife's at home now. She bought us a couple of England shirts. Got her nickname on the back, and she's written my surname on the back, 27. Like, she takes the piss out of me about my cleans up. You swan around me 27 years, you'll see it's a small hospital, she says. Yeah. It's really good to be here. And I'm really, like I say, I'm really grateful it's a small intimate meeting, because it allows me to open up a little bit. There's loads of people here. I'm not really too comfortable opening up like
Thank you. Oh, turn that